All right, welcome everyone to this Q&A. Again, want to welcome everyone to this Q&A. I just want to thank everyone also. Just put up a post. Had two grandkids this week. I had a granddaughter last week and a grandson just born about 3 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago, give or take. So soaking all that in. So again, I want to thank everyone for all the well wishes. Again, want to welcome everyone to this what do you call it, to this Q&A, and a few things we mentioned this week. We mentioned this week about about the Noahide laws and having someone teach the Noahide laws, and if they are they're logical, we could figure them out. Why is it you need someone to teach you? So is that a contradiction? And the answer is no, right? Simply because there are details. Just because a person may have figured out what the laws are or understand what the Noahide laws are, the more than 60, 65, some say 70, whatever it is, there are details, right? There are details in the Noahide laws. So yeah, you have to understand, you understand the details, and the details are complex and wouldn't say they're so self-explanatory, right? I mean, in general, the things, the Noahide laws they have to keep, definitely more self-explanatory, but there are details, right? There are details. So he also mentions, which this is just a follow-up, that we also mentioned about reaching out to non-Jews, whether there's an obligation. We've spoken about a number of times, right? Whether there's an obligation for Jews to reach out to non-Jews for their mitzvahs, right, and all that. So somebody asked based on that, based on that with this follow-up, what's wrong with reaching out to non-Jews? Right now, the claim is that they say, look at how Israel's getting slandered, right? Anti-Semitism is growing all over the world. Jews need all the help as possible, right? Not only that, it said, they don't know the source, but it's brought down, the person so much drawn to Judaism most likely has a Jewish soul anyway. That's only for conversion. Yeah, that means their souls on Mount Sinai probably became a non-Jewish soul, which is the whole question how that works. How does the soul become, if it was Jewish, become non-Jewish? A lot of it has to do with Kabbalah. But even someone drawn to Judaism doesn't mean they're going to convert. It doesn't mean they have to convert, right? One thing let's make very clear. Judaism is not about proselytization. We're not interested. People come and convert. We don't want converts. Anyone wants to convert, and they all drop dead tomorrow. Nobody cares. No offense. Why does nobody care? Because we're not looking for converts. Converts given the Jewish people a bad name throughout the millennium. We're not looking for converts. Good. So if we're not looking for converts, who says just because we're the chosen nation? Yeah, we're an Amul Malachis Kohanim. We're a tribe, right? We are a tribe of Kohanim, etc. So if that's true, who says I'm obligated to proselytize to non-Jews? Not allowed to proselytize. Period. Even for them to keep their own mitzvahs. Drawing them close for conversion for sure forbidden. We don't want converts. We're not interested in converts. Yeah. If they come and they're interested, they need help, okay? So then we're obligated to help them. But for goodness sakes, why do we have to be out there pounding the pavement? Why? Certainly for someone to convert, we're not interested. No obligation whatsoever. Forbidden. Forbidden to do that, to draw them closer. If they come and they're interested, okay. Then you have to ascertain, are they really interested? Yeah, you have to see how serious they are. But to proselytize to non-Jews for conversion? Absolutely not. Totally forbidden. Now, someone's going to say, okay, so they reach out to non-Jews. Look what's going on. Terrorist attacks in Israel. Anti-Semitism up the gazoo. That's true. There's a lot of anti-Semitism. Someone even told me, that the more Noahides we have, there won't be anti-Semitism. Now, that's not true. Why is that not true? Because anti-Semitism will never end until the Messiah comes. It'll never end. Once the Messiah comes, fine. But anti-Semitism will never end until that point. Now, it is true, if there would be more Noahides out there, then there'd be less anti-Semitism. True? I think that's the point here, right? That would be true. It's not going to end it. 100% it's not going to end it. Yeah. But the question is that there's always going to be anti-Semitism. Whether I have more non-Jews, that are closer to God doing the right thing, or less, anti-Semitism is always going to run rampant. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's worse. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. 100% doesn't matter. Now, that being the case, if we're not into proselytization for a conversion and it's really forbidden, why would we say we should proselytize to non-Jews to keep the Noahide laws? Logically. If I can't do it for the sake of conversion, why would I be allowed to do it for non-conversion? Because you're going to say, don't non-Jews have to keep what they have to keep? True. We said this many times. But that's not my obligation. I was telling someone earlier today, there are 13.5 million Jews that don't know Aleph Beis. They cannot say the Shema. So if I had a choice between bringing back, a Jew to the best of my ability so they'll become Shomer Torah mitzvahs, so they'll keep the Torah, they'll keep God's law, or to help a non-Jew in the Noahide laws, who comes first? Come on, answer me. Who comes first? Jews come first. That's elitism. No, it's not. We look out for our own. Everybody looks out for their own. But see, the non-Jews' problem is they get a chip on the shoulder here. They're going to say, but I should have known. You should have come out and taught me. These things are logical. Right? A lot of these things, besides the details, are logical. Why should an Orthodox Jew have to teach someone that's something that's logical? I understand the Torah, 80% of it's not logical. At least 80%. Totally not logical. You got to change your mentality. You got to learn what it means. That you for sure need a teacher. Because a lot of it doesn't make any sense at all. Right? Give an example. I just had a grandson a few hours ago. Yeah, when's he going to get his name? The bris, the circumcision. How many days? 8. Unless the baby's yellow. Right? The baby's totally healthy, 8 days. Right? Welcome to the covenant. But I always say, welcome to the covenant, 8 days. Yeah, why 8 days? You know why 8 days? Because God said 8 days. There's a whole thing. You have to go through Shabbos and whatever I'm not going to go into. Why 8 days? Why is it 7? Why isn't it 4? Why isn't it 12? Does that make sense logically? Doesn't make sense logically. I'm not allowed to eat meat and milk together. Torah says 3 times. You're not allowed to cook a calf in its mother's milk. The rabbis tell us why it's 3 times. Right? Say it's forbidden to cook it even if you don't eat it. Forbidden to get benefit from it. Forbidden to cook it in general. Yeah. Now, if I take kosher meat and I take kosher cheese and I put them together, why is it forbidden? If you're going to tell me you can't cook a calf in his mother's milk, okay, but why is it forbidden? You say it's cruel? Why is it an act of cruelty here? Even if you use someone else's milk and not the same, not the mother and the son or whatever, right? Or the daughter or whatever, offspring, we'll call it. Yeah, well, what's the difference? Why does it matter? Yeah, it's illogical. Totally illogical. There's different reasons people will give, but it's hard to understand. Give another example, right? If you see a mother hovering over eggs, Torah says to shoo away the mother bird, right? And you take the eggs, and that cruel? Gemara says if you say it's cruel, you're a heretic. Yeah, does that make logical sense? I can go through a whole list. I didn't even mention about Shabbos. I didn't mention about holidays. Different things. Something's more logical, less logical. 80% doesn't make sense. If 80% doesn't make sense, a person needs a lot of education, understanding why. Not just why, but what I have to do. What my obligations are. You're not going to get that by just thinking yourself, right? Like the conservative movement would say, well, maybe these people were religious. They had divine providence. They had Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration. Yeah. Right? The lowest form of prophecy. So tell me, okay, they're very, 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 very smart. They would come up with this. Come on. Right? If I were going to write the Torah, or you're going to get a committee to write the Torah, pick 5 laws, 10 laws maximum that everybody can do. That makes absolute sense. Not these crazy things that don't make sense. They can't wear wool and linen. That doesn't make sense. Why can't I wear wool and linen? Logically. I'm saying there aren't reasons. I'm just pointing out. Right? So you got to learn the details of what it means. I was looking at one of my things on one of my suits, and it says 50% polyester, 50% wool. Yeah, there's a thing written in it saying, right in the pocket, there's a thing sewn in saying that it's been checked. There's no linen. 100% you can wear it. It's not a problem. Yeah, but you have to know how to check. You have to know where to check, right? So if you have a sports coat, where do you check? Where do you check for linen? So obviously someone's been taught. They know checking the buttons, checking the in the pads, in the shoulders. Different places to check where they would find it. How they know? Have to be taught these things, right? Comes to Noahide laws, yeah. We mentioned the laws of detail. The laws are detailed, so you have to learn from someone. True, but even if you learn from someone, could you probably figure out a lot of them yourself? Yeah, 100%. It's not a contradiction over here. You have to learn them in depth. True. But a person probably could have figured out most of them. So if that's true, right, let's just assume that's true. If that is true, I have to be pounding the pavement to convince non-Jews to keep something that any 7-year-old would have known. You're going to say, how would a 7-year-old know? Because the 7-year-old's taught, when they're little, you're not allowed to steal. Things that don't belong to you, you're not allowed to take. Usually they're given certain values. Yeah. But these things are absolute 100% obvious. They're not something you never would have figured out. Details, okay. You have to learn the details. True. So Orthodox rabbis and Orthodox Jews going to be pounding the pavement looking for non-Jews who couldn't figure that out? They couldn't figure that out? It sounds kind of silly if you think about it. All right, we'll make a little bit of a distinction here. Imagine going up to all kinds of people, right? Going up to all kinds of non-Jews and saying, don't you know 2 and 2 is 4? And 4 and 4 is 8? Don't you know that? That's what it's like. I mean, I'm making fun here a little bit, but that's what it is. You're telling something that anyone could have figured out in general. So I have to pound the pavement to have them figure it out? To try and convince people why they should be worshiping cows? I don't care what the philosophical thing behind it is. Yeah? Does that make a lot of sense? In general? Christianity, does it make a lot of sense in general if you don't think about what's going on? No. Did you have an immaculate conception? No. You need a male, you need a female. You're going to tell me a spirit that God doesn't have a form is going to impregnate something? Come on. This is biology. This is nuts. Yeah, I'm making fun here. But the point is, these things are obvious. How come more Christians don't come out? But they're brainwashed. They're not taught to think. But there are people, anyone's going to listen to this, they've been taught themselves. That doesn't make sense. They've read other things that doesn't make sense. Okay. That's my obligation. When there's a spiritual Holocaust going on, 13.5 million Jews don't know Aleph Beis, and I have to convince, and I have to be out there trying to convince people that 2 and 2 is 4. I better be getting paid a lot of money to do that. Yeah, a lot of money to do that. That's a total waste of time. No offense. Total waste of time. Time can be used much better. But the thing is, the non-Jew now comes and is seeing the light, and now they want to understand what Torah and mitzvahs are, whether they convert or not, doesn't matter. Then they come to you, they come to an Orthodox Jew and say, I want to learn Torah. I found out it's all false. You're the ones that have it. We want to know what it is. That's different. Then there's an obligation to help them. And if a Jew can't help them, they don't know how to help them, send them to someone that can. But I have to be out there convincing people 2 and 2 is 4? Come on. Yeah. Now, that was the first thing. So even though anti-Semitism is growing all over the world, you're right. I would agree that if you have a lot more non-Jews that are Noahides, there'd be less anti-Semitism. Okay. Not going to disappear by any stretch. What are you going to do with all the Christians? Yeah. What are you going to do with all the Muslims? Convince them. Good luck. All the ones that are left. You know, they're going to perpetuate it, continue to perpetuate it. So you say it'll be less. You know, it's kind of like the argument, and I'm not going to get into this, but it's kind of like the argument where secular government here says, you know, we want all the ultra-Orthodox Jews to be in the army. Now imagine if all 22 Arab nations would attack Israel. Let's say. God forbid. Yeah. So what is the percentage, right, of, you know, Arabs against Jews if you had everybody fighting against them? You say it's 100,000 to 1, 1,000,000 to 1. I mean, the odds are slim that the Jews should survive. So now secular are going to say, but you have to uphold the burden. So now we're going to throw all of you in the army, you know, et cetera. So now it's going to be 100,000 to 2 or 3, right? Without getting into the issue, the numbers don't matter. The numbers don't add up. Yeah, the same thing. It'll help. I would agree. It would help anti-Semitism, you know, certain level of anti-Semitism will go down. Okay? Not going to disappear. But that's not a reason for me to try and convince 2 and 2 is 4. There's not a reason for that. It's a waste of time. But if they come to me, they come to an Orthodox Jew, it's different. Then they have an obligation. Yeah, but how are they going to find out about it? People find out. I got people in India, people in Bangladesh, you know, all kinds, everywhere, all over the world. God gave people brains. You're going to say, but I was brainwashed. Okay, we're all brainwashed. But we all came out of it somehow. And it might have taken a long time. Okay. God gave everyone a brain. He gave us the opportunity to use it for right and for wrong. You want to be brainwashed? Okay, it's your choice. You know, I never thought about it. Well, that's your problem. God will say, go out and look in the world, but why is it more severe for non-Jews? Because these things are obvious. There are things God's trying to hide. And say, oh, didn't you know you're not allowed to mix milk and meat? Well, come on, that doesn't make sense. We're not allowed to wear wool and linen? Come on. They never would have figured that out. Where would they have ever figured out such a thing? It's not logical. Laws of Lashon Hara, they never would have figured that out either. There's a whole list, huge list, things they would never figure out. But things they would have figured out, my obligation to tell you 2 and 2 is 4? No, it's not my obligation. Person's got a brain. I got to rejuvenate the brain? Not my job. Yeah. So we need all the help as possible, but we don't believe in proselytization, even to keep their own mitzvahs. Now, if you tell me the mitzvahs are complex and they need to be taught, and all these other things, then I would understand. Then it would make sense. Because then they need a lot of knowledge. Then I'd have to be out there, okay? Then that's a whole different thing. But these things are obvious. You don't need me to teach you that. It's obvious. Details, okay. You might need to understand more about details. Fine. Right? So now what's the second thing? Second thing is that it says that if a person is drawn to Judaism, he must likely have a Jewish soul. Not necessarily. If they want to convert, we hold that. Right? Then, if they want to convert, then most likely they have, their soul is probably Mount Sinai anyway. That's true. That is definitely true. And then through intermarriage or assimilation, they go by the wayside. Okay, that I get. Yeah, what is it? Again, this is illogical. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with reaching out to non-Jews? Because if they're drawn to Judaism, and they'll find their way. They'll find their way. The Gemara says, we mentioned many times, they want to go on the right path, God will help them. They want to go on the wrong path, God will not stop them. If they want to go on the right path, they'll find it. They don't even mean pounding the pavement. Yeah, but this has nothing to do with anything. There's nothing to do. So what? They might be drawn to Judaism. Yeah, they might have a Jewish soul. So I should reach out to them. Yeah, where would I find them? Where exactly would I find them? Even if I could. So you say, well, maybe they're different Facebook groups. Maybe they're this. Where would I find them? In general. So bottom line is, as we said before, the question is, what's wrong with it? Let me ask you, what's right with it? They're assuming, and the assumption is, in all these type of questions, is that it's my obligation to take someone out of the mud. That they could take themselves out themselves. That's what they're saying. You have an obligation because you're a light into nations to pull the non-Jews out of the mud because you're a light into nations. If we're a light into nations doing what we should do, they would have figured it out anyway. They would have figured it out by our example. But even if they wouldn't know because there are 13.5 million Jews don't know diddly squat about anything. And the most important question is ketchup, mustard, relish on my hot dog. But here we're talking about things that are obvious. Yeah. So I have to reach out to something that's obvious. I wouldn't want someone coming to me trying to explain to me 2 and 2 is 4. I was like, why are you trying to tell me something? I know that. Yeah, but don't you know, it's complicated and there's God involved and there's this and you know what? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's not our job. Our job is to teach Torah as much as we can to our own people, strengthen our own people, bring back those who've fallen off. Non-Jews will come and they want to learn. Very good. Yeah, very good. But just because we're light into nations doesn't mean that's my job. If it's something that's obvious. And on top of that, if they come and we push them away, that's bad. I've heard that also. They just say, once you convert, they just blow you off. That's wrong. That I said, that I admitted. That 100% is wrong. That should not be done. They should be helped. And if you can't help them, you don't know how to help them, bring them to someone that can. Yeah, but there's a whole fundamental flaw in the question. They say, what's so wrong with it? Because there are 1.5 million things we have obligations to do for ourselves before we're worrying about non-Jews. That's the truth. We got a lot of issues ourselves we need to deal with, that are problematic. Yeah, that are bringing, that are making inroads within Orthodoxy that's bad. We have a lot of things we need to deal with. So if I would take the top 5 issues or top 10 issues, this is like number 227. It's that far. Because we have to look out for our own first. I'm not saying you blow them off. I'm not saying you have nothing to do with them. I'm not saying they shouldn't be helped. But if you want Judaism to survive, so a bunch of non-Jews want to come, what's more important? It's a sad thing to say, right? You might say it's elitism and it's not fair. And what? Again, if it's something that's not logical, then we'd have a right to be paving the pavement trying to explain to them what it means. If it's something that's logical, which most of it is, and they would have figured it out, it's just details, so then they come to us for details. But the fact that they need me to tell them what logic dictates, something that's like 1 and 1 is 2, I don't, I would say, come on, I'll have my 11-year-old do that. He can do that. He can tell you, he can tell you what you have to do, what you're not allowed to do, right? Simple level. Someone who, sitting and teaching and doing other things, and trying to acquire as much Torah as he can, you're going to tell him he's got to do that? I mean, you got to get strong shoulders to say such a thing, because there's so many other more important things. I hate to say it, but that's true. We're looking out for our own. Anyone who wants to come join, they deserve to be helped. Anyone who needs to be helped, wants to learn what they have to do, they should be helped. That's true. But I should be looking for them for things that are obvious? No. Right? That's my answer. That's my answer. People have been given brains. God has given people brains. They can use it for whatever they want. They can convince themselves of all kinds of things. Okay, that's their choice. That's their choice. Yeah, and they want to be convinced of that. Okay, what can I do? Some people will tell me, well, it's all interpretation, it's all this and whatever. And look, if you don't believe the Torah is true, you're not going to keep it. You have to live it, and it's hard, and it have all kinds of evil inclinations this generation. Okay, but if you don't give your kids a fighting chance, they'll fail. I'll tell you, they'll fail. They'll see contradictions in what the parents do and what they say. Say, oh, you don't have to do this, do that, and we're more lenient and this and that. It's a disaster. Disaster. Yeah, you will never be able to pass that down. If you believe it, you live it. So I say, if you don't believe it, God forbid, don't live it. You're not going to live it. But how are you going to pass that down? You can't pass that down. Kids are very bright. They pick up on these things. They see, but why do we do this and other people do that and we don't do that? And, it sounds like a whole hodgepodge, which it is. You got to be taught properly. And then the person later on decides to make their own choice, God forbid, the wrong way. It's their choice. But let them get the right education. Yeah, if they don't get the right education, they don't have a chance. I'm going to tell you, statistically proven, you don't have a chance. 0% chance. It's not going to happen. You can pray as much as you want. It won't happen. According to law, according to nature. Yeah, it won't happen. Yeah. So that's the follow-up to that. There's some other things here, but I see there are a bunch of questions here. Someone asks, how does Judaism deal with cosmic skeptics who claim the universe is billions of years old? The question is, from where? All right, there's a great book called Genesis, the Big Bang. Anyone wants to read it, by Dr. Gerald Schroeder. Question is, when you go to creation and you look at each day, where are you standing? Right? Where are you standing in the world? If you're standing close to Earth, so how many hours are in that day? 24. What if I'm standing on Saturn? I don't know, it's gassy, I'll probably die. Right? So, God forbid. So let's say you're standing on Saturn, out in space. How long is that day? It's not 24 hours. Right? That day could be 1,000 years. Could be 1,000,000 years. Let's say you're even further out. You're by Pluto, even though Pluto got demoted as a planet. Let's say you're all the way out there. See, how far is the day? How long is the day? Right. So his claim, according to physics, depends where you stand on the universe. Right. The closer you are to when the Earth turns, it's going to be more closer to the 24-hour period. The further you're away, it's going to be tens of thousands of millions of years. Yeah, that's one answer, one possible answer. Even according to physics. If I'm out in the middle of the universe, how can I say it's 24 hours? It's impossible to say it's 24 hours. Can't make such a claim, right? Because it goes much slower, right? That's a potential answer. Now, the age of the universe depends where you are. Another potential answer is, who says that, let's say it's 24-hour period, right? We'll make it easy. Let's say it's 24 hours. So it's 24 hours. It's 24 hours. Well, let's say, what did God want? God wanted to make it look much older. In other words, really, it's only a 24-hour period. So why are scientists and cosmologists and all these people, why are they, all these heretics, why are they all saying it's billions of years old? Because it could be. God wants people to make mistakes, or gives them the ability to make mistakes. So what do he do? So he put things in the world to say, oh, see, look, it's like a billion years old. Make them make mistakes. He made it that old to make them make mistakes, or potentially make mistakes. Another possible answer. Someone asked, how can a Noahide prevent thinking of Hashem in the bathroom? Ask better, how can a Jew prevent himself from thinking of Torah in the bathroom? What does that have to do with a Noahide? I'm not sure it'd be forbidden for a Noahide. Yeah, for a Jew, yeah. A Jew's not allowed to think of Torah in the bathroom. I always tell people, when do the greatest spiritual epiphanies come, whether in the middle of prayer or in the bathroom, right? A lot of people say it's true, right? But you can't think Torah in the bathroom, right? How do you prevent yourself thinking Torah in the bathroom? Think about other things. Think about work. Think about, think about greatness of God's creation without thinking Torah. Thinking of the human body, the beauty of the human body. There are people, let's say you read National Geographic. You're in the bathroom, see God's wonders. Yeah, I would say, though, if a person constantly thinks Torah all the time, you're in the bathroom, it's a problem. You're right. That's true. That's true. But you should think other things that, think of, like I said, the greatness of the human body. Or, the world. How God runs the world. Yeah, through nature. Look at nature. Look at natural things, so to speak. That's not thinking Torah. All right, but you're right. If a person constantly thinks Torah, it's hard. Not necessarily think Torah in the bathroom. I would say like this: if you understand what you're doing, we're not going to get gross here. You're not going to want to think Torah. Even if your mind is steeped in Torah, you'll stop. Why will you stop? Because of what you're doing. Is it true Noahides are not allowed into synagogue because of the fear of intermarriage? Good question. First of all, what are Noahides going to do in a synagogue? They can't pray like a Jew. Yeah. Could be rabbis are afraid they don't want all these non-Jews coming to the synagogue. That's true. That I would agree is true. That's why Noahides should have their own places to go. Even though someone said, according to some rabbis, they shouldn't have these Noahide things. Why not? Because they're afraid. What's the claim? Their claim is, if they're trying to do all this and they want to have their own place, they're going to end up converting anyway. Okay, maybe. I don't think that's the case, though. I mentioned this on Tuesday, right? I definitely think that they have their own place and they have a social network and this and that, and they have people come and speak and different things. They're not going to want to convert. Why should they want to convert? Why does the majority of them want to convert? I don't think that's the case. Yeah, they have a place to come. I mean, the problem is Noahide spread all over the world. That's the problem. You don't have 40, 50 in one place. It's hard. There are only a few places in the world that have quote unquote Noahide, Noahide places. Yeah. So I think that would be a good thing. Obviously under the auspices of an Orthodox rabbi, 100%. But at the same time, I'm not convinced that if they're part of this and things are going well, they're going to want to convert. That the vast majority are going to want to convert, so you shouldn't do it. Right? You have to be careful. The reason you have to be careful is you want to make sure they're not creating a new religion. They're not doing things they shouldn't do. That's for sure. That is definitely for sure. Are rabbis worried about intermarriage? Well, maybe. But it's not their place. That's the problem. Their place is not to come to synagogue every Shabbos and hear the Torah. It's not their place. Even if they want to, if they really feel strong about it, so it's not their place. Do they have an obligation to hear the Torah every week? No. They have an obligation to pray like we pray. No. They have an obligation to pray. True. They can pray more. They can pray less. They have no prayer books, whatever. Yeah, but you're not praying like we do. Someone asked in the last Q&A, a Jew in training, when can they pray from an Art Scroll prayer book? Yeah, if they're serious, so I mentioned, if they're serious about conversion, they're not wishy-washy, this is the path, and they can start praying like a Jew. A Noahide's not going to do that because they don't want to convert. Maybe they will convert, forget it. If you want to convert, convert. If you don't want to convert, don't skew the lines. Don't stray over each one. Either you want to go one way or the other way. Now, it could be a person's Noahide, they end up wanting to convert. Okay. Yeah. But if you're a Noahide, stay a Noahide. If you want to convert, fine. If you're not sure, stay a Noahide. Don't do things you're not allowed to do unless you're sure. Doesn't matter you're accepted by rabbinical court. You're not accepted by rabbinical court. At this stage, if a person feels 100% this is for them, and they want to go through conversion, they want everything, they can start praying like a Jew if they want. They're allowed to. They don't have to be formally accepted. Right? That's the point. But don't be wishy-washy. Don't say, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to do it, this, that, back and forth, back and forth. Either you're going to do it and you're committed or you're not. And if you don't want to be committed, that's also fine. But if you're not committed, don't start praying from a prayer book. From a Jewish prayer book. It's not for you at this moment. When it becomes for you at the moment, very good. Right? But if not, and you're not sure, so then you wait. Then you definitely wait. When can one say Mazel Tov? Person had a baby. Person gets married, right? They marry a Jew. If they marry a Jew. Meaning a Jew marries a Jew. And there's no problem. And there are no issues. A person buys a house. Say Mazel Tov on that. Person buys a car. Right? You can say Mazel Tov on that. Right? Many things. Right? Many things. Someone mentioned lots of evidence of the flood. Yeah, that's true. 100% true. Someone says Adam was created as full-grown, aged man, not as a newborn, right? The entire universe could have been created as his will, however, aged each other. Right. That's true. Right? All animals created in full form. True. Right? So Adam could have, God could have taken Adam from the four corners of the earth, and on that day, let's say it's 5 billion years old. So if it's close to the earth, it's 24 hours. If it's further away, that gathering can take 1 billion years. That's not a contradiction, right? Depends where he was, right? Depends where you're standing in the universe. Let's say that. Someone asked, what's better for Noahides to read Torah's commentary or watch lectures on YouTube? You can ask about Jews also. I say it's a little bit different because Jews have, should learn from the source, should learn how to learn, right? Should learn how to learn the commentaries. At least certainly men out there, women to a certain extent, right? Non-Jews don't necessarily have to learn from the source. They don't need to learn biblical Hebrew and all that. So if they want to learn from a text, yeah, learn from a text. They want to learn it online, watch lectures. It's also good. You can do both. It doesn't mean you have to do one or the other, right? You can do one or the other. It's not either or, right? Both are definitely good. Let's say a person doesn't have the head to sit and learn, but they can listen to something. They'll better listen to something than to try and read. Yeah, something like that. Someone asked, what do you do if you mispronounce a word during the blessing? For example, you say mizonot instead of mizonot before eating a cookie? Do you do it again? Depends. It depends if the mispronounced words changes the definition. If you said, let's say, mizonot's over any of the 5 grains, wheat, barley, spelt, rye, or oats, or even rice, let's say you made a hadama. Yeah, that the blessing certainly invalid. If you mispronounced mizonotes and already you made the blessing, could you go back and repeat it? Yeah, you could. You have a certain amount of time. You have a certain amount of time to get the word right if you mispronounce it, right? As a Jew, if you mispronounce it, you have to say the whole thing over, unless you catch it within 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds. If you said mizo, I don't know, however you mispronounce it, right? Let's say you were making over watermelon, right? Pre hadama, right? The word hadama, you say ha'adam. You say ha'adam. Yeah, that's the wrong word. Now, if you say pre hadama, hadama, right? You say it within a couple seconds, very good. Right? Then you caught it. If you mispronounce it, you say pre adam, and then you eat it, then let's say you eat the piece of watermelon, whatever it is. So what happens? You mispronounced it. Now that's not the right blessing. You made the wrong blessing. Yeah, so now I go back and say it. The question is when you caught the mistake. If you caught the mistake in the amount of time it took you to say Shalom Alecha Rebbe. Yeah, it's about 2-3 seconds. If you caught the mistake, then very good. If you didn't catch the mistake, then and you caught it afterwards, it's too late, right? Then you made the wrong blessing. You got to go back and repeat it. Someone asked, is there a conversion process to become a Noahide? No conversion process at all. Someone coming out of Christianity, de facto, as they're learning, they're de facto a Noahide. There's no conversion process. There is an idea the Rambam brings, and we'll make this clear, that for Noahides, let's say better, for Ger Toshav, a non-Jew lives amongst the Jewish people in the land of Israel, basically going against idolatry and keeping the Noahide laws. It's called the Ger Toshav. Ger Toshav doesn't exist today. We mentioned many times, there's no Jubilee year for a number of technical reasons. So we don't have a Ger Toshav today. But if there would be a Ger Toshav, the Rambam states clear, right? Let's make this clear. The Rambam states clear, you have to go, this Ger Toshav has to go in front of a Beis Din and make a declaration as a Ger Toshav. Obligation to do such a thing. A Noahide, I got in trouble for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because I'm not associated with anybody anymore. And that is that if a Noahide does that, some Noahide groups will tell you should do it. You should go in front of a rabbinical court and make a declaration of the Noahide laws. Now, is it a good thing to do if you want to do it? Yeah. You could do it, right? Some groups even give you a plaque, that you took it on in front of a rabbinical court. I think in front of witnesses is good to declare the Noahide laws, that you're going to keep the Noahide laws in front of 2 witnesses. Very good, right? I think that's a good thing. You're not obligated. And even if you did it in front of a rabbinical court and they gave you a plaque and they wrote it down saying you took on the Noahide laws and you put the plaque, you put the plaque in your house, you put it on the wall, very good. What value does that have? In the Jewish world today, what value does that have? The only value it has, and I'm not saying it's small, the only value it has, it makes the person feel better that they took on the Noahide laws. They solidified it. They took it on in front of rabbinical court. That is worth something. That is worth something to a person. Would I tell you to do it? No. If a person says, I want to do it, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, yeah, I'm taking it on. I'm taking it seriously. This and that. Okay. They're allowed to do that. It's not forbidden to do, but they're not obligated to do it. And on top of that, it's a good feeling. That's what it is. It's a good feeling. Yeah. But the piece of paper that it's written on, even if the rabbi sign on it, all it is a good feeling. That's all it is. It doesn't prove anything otherwise. It looks good on the wall, okay? It makes the person feel better, okay? So I said that piece of paper is like toilet paper. That's what it is. I mean, it makes you feel good, okay? I'm not going to say not if a person wants to do it, very good. It gives them a very strong feeling for doing it, okay? I don't have an issue with it. But I don't want people hoodwinked into thinking that, because they did it, they went in front of rabbinical court, they got the plaque, they put it on the wall, within Judaism, they're holding up here. No, doesn't mean anything. There's no obligation. A ger toshav, that's a different issue. That's a different issue. Ger toshav has an obligation to go in front of a rabbinical court. Yeah. A Noahide does not. Now, most people know there are certain things, personal pet peeves. One of them is people that misrepresent and lie. So there are Noahide groups out there telling you that according to the Rambam, that's talking about a Noahide, and that's a crock. I called them out on it. I yelled at them on it, and I said you're misrepresenting what the Rambam says. Because if you watch that video, in the video itself, it says ger toshav if you can read Hebrew. It does not say Noahide. Yeah? So this rabbi tells me, he says, yeah, I know. No. Don't tell me you know. Go make a video. Go say I was wrong. Go say Kaufman told me to do this and said I was wrong and I misrepresented what the Torah said. Bring it back to me. And he didn't do that. He lied. Because he wants people to come and do this. Now, I don't know if they're getting paid, not getting paid. They just want more people to go in front of rabbinical court to do it. Okay? Yeah, but don't misrepresent and lie and say, see, the Rambam says there's a din of ger toshav. No, there isn't. Right? There isn't a din of ger toshav, but even if there would be, the Rambam states clear when it talks about ger toshav, he has to go in front of a rabbinical court. He himself has to go in front of a rabbinical court. The word is not Noahide. The word in Hebrew for the Rambam, and you can look at any Rambam, right? The Laws of Kings, it's ger toshav. It's not Noahide. So he said, you can't tell people and misrepresent and say it's not worth anything. And I said, oh yeah? I said, what's it worth? I said, tell me, black and white, what's it worth? Makes people feel good. Okay. Obligation? Are they a ger toshav, you moron? No. They're not a ger toshav. There's no such thing as ger toshav today. Everybody holds no ger toshav today. Why does this rabbi get up and say no, how'd you do it? And he's taking the word ger toshav and taking it out and putting it in Noahides. Go ask them. I hate people that lie. I'm going to tell you the truth. I can't stand people that lie. Yeah. Tell them it doesn't say what you said it says. Period. Tell them that. Don't be a fraud yourself. Don't make people feel good when they don't have to. Right? Don't make people say, oh, I'm going to give you this plaque in the ger toshav. It's not. I have an issue with that. A major issue with that. And I got slammed, for saying that. Well, too bad. It's too bad. People don't like it. They don't like to hear certain things. Okay. So again, someone comes to me. They want to get it done. They want to go in front of a rabbinical court. They can. Makes them feel good. Very good. Yeah. Obligation? No. They have status of ger toshav? No. So if they want to do it, good. But in the bigger scheme of things, it's not worth anything. Is it a sin to do it? No. It's not a sin to do it. To go in front of a rabbinical court, it's a good thing. To go in front of witnesses, you could go in front of a rabbinical court. If you want to. But again, it doesn't have any weight in anything. That's my point. There's no weight in anything. It just makes the person feel good. Okay. Right? So lying is a sin. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. The Torah says, mitzvah sheker tirchak. You're not allowed to lie. The Torah says many times, explicitly. How can you misrepresent what the Torah does to get more people to have your stupid ger toshav sticker? No offense. Sorry, plaque. How can you do that? That's lying. You're lying to get people to do it. So they have an interest in doing it. Why? Could be money. I don't know. Whatever it is. But what this rabbi says is not true. Period. That's not what the Rambam says. Rambam says Ger Toshav has an obligation. And he admitted to me, he admitted face to face. You're right. You're right. That's not what it says. Okay. Period. That's where it ends. That's not what it says. Go tell them what it says and explain to them why you misrepresented it. Over the last couple of years, I haven't heard that. I only heard you can't say what I said. But again, person wants to get it, makes them feel good, very good. But in the bigger scheme of things, what's the piece of paper worth in Judaism today? Nothing. That's why I said it's worth toilet paper. It's not worth anything. It makes a person feel good. Person wants to do it, 100% let them do it. They can do it. And it makes them feel good and whatever, and they took on the commitment 100%. Do they have to? No. But it makes them feel good, okay. But I'm just pointing out in the bigger scheme of things, doesn't mean anything either way. It just makes them feel good, okay. Right? So I corrected that after I got hammered. I said, okay, people want to do it, fine. But it's still not worth the piece of paper it's written on. It doesn't have any, the only benefit is it makes people feel good. Okay. I don't have an issue with that. If they want, if they want to do that, just realize what are people going to say? No, it's a big thing and you got to do this. And, it just makes you feel good in the heart. Okay. Yeah. There's no Ger Toshav today. You can put that in that rabbi's pipe and tell him to smoke it. It's a lie. It's a total lie. Yeah. Other questions. See a few other questions here. Yeah. This week's parsha is written, anyone among the offspring throughout the generation has a defect, shall now come near to offer up. Yeah. We're talking about a Kohen. Right? Aren't we talking about a Kohen? Yeah. Talking about a Kohen. Yeah, a Kohen can't have defects and serve in the temple. People are going to look at him, have adverse thoughts. There's certain things he can't, certain blemishes he can't have. If he does, he can't serve. Right? That's a Kohen. Right? He can't serve. Right? He wouldn't be allowed to serve. Right? So it's a Kohen. We're talking about a Kohen here. Or anyone. Anyone who would bring something, we're talking about a Kohen though, specifically a Kohen. They can't, if he has a defect, he can't serve. Right? He's got, a unibrow. He's got, let's say, one arm shorter than the other, or one leg shorter than the other, or whatever, different things. Different defects. Someone asked, can a Noahide light a barn fire for Lag BaOmer? Can they light a barn fire? Again, I wouldn't. I would say no. Again, it doesn't. That doesn't really apply. It doesn't apply to non-Jews. It's a violation of Noahide laws to say two prayers over one item you eat. Noahide law. Who says Noahide doesn't make blessings? Right? Noahides can make blessings. That's true. But is it a violation of the Noahide laws to say two prayers over one item you eat? Or if you forget to pray? If Noahides have an obligation to make blessings, right? Some say there are certain blessings they could make. Yeah, if they don't make the blessing, is it stealing? Could be. Could be. It's really by a Jew, not a non-Jew. Right? Because a Noahide has an obligation to pray. Yeah. Who says they have to pray over their fruit? And if they didn't pray, is that stealing? No. They should give thanks. They should, what's the obligation, the Torah obligation to pray today? The Torah obligation is to say, thank God. Thank God for creation, right? That's the Torah obligation. Everything else is pretty much extra, right? Thanking God for what he does in the world. That's the Torah obligation. Yeah. And if Noah didn't say that his whole life, are they liable for a death penalty? No. They're definitely not liable for a death penalty. Is it stealing? They might be called an ingrate. They might be called someone who doesn't have gratitude. Doesn't show gratitude. Stealing? I don't know. If they have an obligation to make a blessing, they don't make a blessing, they're considered a thief. Right? A Jew would be considered a thief. I don't know we go that far to say it's a Noahide. If they want to make a blessing, they can. But if they don't make a blessing, are they a thief? I wouldn't go that far. It's only by a Jew. Someone else, oh great. Yeah, 6 people asked me to teach them Noahides. You're not qualified. Send them to me. I'll deal with them. Yeah, they got any question, they can come to me. Right? If you don't know what to do, someone comes to you, they want to know about Noahides, then you got to pass them on to someone else. Right? That would be the logical thing to do. So you can send them to me or anyone else is qualified to deal with them. Is it stealing for a non-Jew who doesn't pray over his meal? Again, do they have to? Who says they have to? If they don't have to, even if they're in the process of conversion, is it stealing? They're not a Jew. If they're a Jew, it's a different issue. If they're a non-Jew, they're not considered a thief because they don't have an obligation. Is it a good thing for them to say blessings over food? Could be, yeah. Yeah, obligatory, and if they don't do it, they're a thief. That's going too far. That's going too far. Someone asked, they had a dream, they made 10 pounds of bacon for no reason. Okay. They're trying to cover it with kosher meat. Yeah, it could be having treif urges. Yeah, non-kosher urges. What does it mean? I don't know. Dreams in general. I just gave a Noahide class on it last week on Saturday and Sunday. Dreams, 99% of the time, unless it's king or something really important, God's trying to get a message to you. Dreams don't mean anything. They pretty much don't mean anything. Most dreams have a lot of things that have nothing to do with nothing to do with anything. Could be you ate something spicy. Could be it's part of our thought processes, what we're thinking about, worried about, this, that, and it comes out in a dream. Yeah, a lot of it, some of the dreams we don't remember anyway, and a lot of them, most of them have things in it that have no relevance, zero relevance. Yeah, if I take a vitamin, someone has take a vitamin gel cap. You can taste the essence. What prayer you say over. You don't make a blessing over vitamins in general. There's a question if you would make if you're going to take cough syrup that had that was sweet. Yeah, it needs rabbinic supervision, but we hold that you should eat something that is the same blessing, i.e. shako, and have that in mind. Because medicine really, or vitamin, is sake of strengthening the body. So we don't make a blessing on it in general. But if a person wanted to, what they could do is they can make a shako on something, have that in mind, have that vitamin or cough syrup in mind or whatever, and that would take care of the problem. Someone said it seems like the more we learn takes a lot of grounding. Yeah, a lot of things. I'll tell you like this, that a person has to be really grounded. Really, really grounded. You got to take a lot in and digest it. Yeah, it's not all at once. It's all building blocks. Yeah, you can question a lot of things. You got to try and understand a lot of things. A lot of it's complex. And I always say, and Kaufman's law is that, I can give a 10-second answer on something or a 30-second answer on something or whatever it may be. It could be more complex, less complex, but you're missing like 15 steps in between. So a person will say, but I want those 15 steps now. Well, I spent 30 years learning. There's still a lot to learn. There's still a ton to learn, day in and day out. Yeah, but you got to put in the time. You got to put in the time, and it'll come eventually. But it's you don't get it all one shot. You don't. Like someone will say, "Oh, isn't just like be nice to everybody? Like, isn't that what Torah is?" It's complex. There are a lot of things that are complex, extremely complex. And sometimes, you can make something look relatively simple, but you're missing a lot of information in between. Yeah, that's, in order to unravel that, to really explain it and this and that, it can take time. Like someone asked me, give me an answer on life after death in like 30 seconds. I couldn't do it in less than 10, at least 10 minutes. Yeah, let's say 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Not even going to give me that. So I said, here's the link. Complex. You can't, I'm not saying you can't ask the question. Yeah, there are a lot of different factors involved, a lot of different things, there's a lot to understand. You can take it step by step. The more you understand the different questions you have, and that's huge. Someone says, I don't agree that all dreams mean nothing. Most do. Most do. If you're a king, dreams are significant, can be significant. The hearts of kings are in the hands of God. Yeah, but most dreams, certainly according to us, are pretty much irrelevant, right? Most dreams. Yeah. And most things in dreams. I'm not saying all. There could be some truthful things in dreams. But you know what? Based on Jewish law, even if you saw truthful things in dreams, we don't go according to dreams anyway. If a person, saw something in a dream and made a vow in a dream, do you have to know the vow? There's a question like that. Do I have to go now and annul the vow? He said, but it was in a dream. Yeah, and if it was true, but you didn't make it, you made it in a dream. There's a whole question, right? There's a whole question, how far that goes. Yeah, are there halachic things that are decided in dreams? No. Right? That's not the case. So what does that mean? It means even if you see certain things in your dreams, it's so real and this and that, whatever. When it comes to Jewish law, no relevance. There's no relevance. I'm not saying every single aspect of every dream, right? But it's pretty clear most things in dreams have no relevance. I'm not saying everything, I'm just saying most things. Yeah. So, are there any other questions here? It's easier for a Noahide to go to heaven than a Jew. Yes. Much easier. Yeah, a lot less mitzvahs to keep. A lot less mitzvahs to keep. But at the same time, if a person repents before they're liable for death penalty, then they'll be in trouble. But for a Jew, there are a lot of things they have to do, and the punishment could be quite severe. And if we reach potential not, even if God has mercy, we don't know. We don't know what heard stories of judgments, what people have said, different things. People come to dreams, told people. Yeah, judgment's complex, very, very complex. And we just hope we keep doing the right thing, that, we should all get a favorable judgment. If you take a pill with water, do you make a blessing on the water? Only if you're thirsty. If the water's there only to get the pill down, you don't make a blessing on it. If Rabbi says hell is not painful, it's like a washing machine. Yeah, I see where this is going. I'm just gonna say it like this: hell is like a cleansing process. It cleanses the soul. There might not be that much left of your soul after cleansing. Yeah, but it's a cleansing process. I don't, going through it like a washing machine. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with saying that. I might get in trouble for saying that. It's a cleansing process. So, they're using a parable as like going through a washing machine. Yeah, but a washing machine could be, it doesn't sound as painful as what getting judged for all your actions and all the details of what you did. Right. So going through a washing machine doesn't sound as painful. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It means it's a cleansing process. Cleansing process. Yeah, I'll mention one thing, and then they're going to stop with this. That first of all, I think people got to be careful what they do say. Sometimes, things can be taken out of context and this and that. And I think people have to chill a little bit also, and that, they'll look for one little thing that someone might say and say, oh, see, the person said he's a heretic, I can make fun of it. Don't be so quick, right? Do not be so quick unless the person, is 100% a heretic and has said heretical things. Do not be so quick to wipe the floor with them because of certain things that they say that might not necessarily be heretical. Yeah, so a person has to be very careful, because if a person makes fun of a rabbi and they're wrong, the punishment is multiplied by infinity unless they get forgiveness. Because that rabbi represents Torah and he's not really a heretic, and he came out against them and said all kinds of nasty things and spread Lashon Hara, that's 10 times worse. Why? Because of what he represents. Yeah, if he's a heretic, then you say what you want. If he's not, but if you're wrong, and I would be very, very careful. That's all I'm going to say. Be very, very careful. Who are you going to wipe the floor with? And who are you going to call a heretic? It's very easy to call someone a heretic today. But you better know if they are or not. And if they're not a heretic and you call someone a heretic, and you start plastering them all over the place, I can't even imagine the punishment you're going to get unless you beg for mercy from this person that they should forgive you. And if you do it on social media, you're toast. You're toast because other people saw it. You just spread Lashon Hara against, against a rabbinic scholar. I wouldn't even want, even my worst enemy, I wouldn't want the punishment for that. You can't atone for that. There's no atonement for it. So anybody out there is on social media, you better think once, twice, three times before you plaster someone. I don't care how angry you are. I don't care what the person you think they did to you. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Bottom line is you come out against them and you're wrong, and you're seriously wrong, you better damn well hope they forgive you. Because if they don't, even if they do forgive you, right? Even if they do forgive you, what's going to happen? What about all the Lashon Hara you spread and millions of people saw it? So even if that rabbi forgives you, everybody else you spread Lashon Hara to. Well, that's 31 prohibitions and 4 or 5 at least different curses. How you get atonement for that? Multiply that by infinity. Think about what the punishment for such a person is, what you do if you do that. Yeah. If you talk about a Jew like that, that's one thing. Yeah, it's also bad. Not going to say not. Someone's a rabbinic scholar, bona fide rabbinic scholar, and you plastered him for no reason, and you were wrong, and you made a serious mistake because you lost it, because you believed other people, let's say, or you thought somebody said something, you're toast. There's no atonement for such a thing. How do you get atonement for billions of people you spread Lashon Hara to against a rabbinic scholar? Even if that rabbinic scholar atones, and he says that, I forgive you 100%. Yeah? What about all the millions of people you don't know who you just spread Lashon Hara to? 31 prohibitions and 4 curses. But it's 10 billion times worse because it's a rabbinic scholar. Yeah? Right? So someone points out, very good. Don't do it. If you're not sure, avoid it, right? Or ask people in the know. Ask the right people in the know. Is this person a heretic or not? And if they know, very good. And if they don't know, be very, very careful. I see people all the time mimic other people, and they go on and this and that. And, again, I laugh sometimes. Sometimes, I want to laugh. I'll watch one of these things. Why? Because I watched the person break their teeth in Hebrew, can't pronounce any Hebrew word, and saying, oh, this one's a heretic, and he's a this, and he's a that. And come on, learn Hebrew. Why are you making videos condemning somebody? Even if they deserve to be condemned, learn Hebrew first. I might take you a little bit seriously if you can pronounce Hebrew. If you can't pronounce Hebrew, and you're going to sit there in classes, I'm not really going to take you that seriously. Yeah, be very, very careful before you open your mouth on social media in general. Yeah. Even if you're rip-roaring, angry, and this and that, the person, rabbinic scholar, think twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 100 times before you do it. Because you might end up doing something you regret, and then you can't take it back. And once you can't take it back, the damage is done, even if they forgive you. Yeah? The 50 billion people who saw it, they don't forgive you because you spread Lashon Hara. Yeah? So I love all these people who put up right before Yom Kippur, if anyone I offended, yeah, what about all the people you did? They don't know it. Right? You don't know who they are. So how can you do atonement for that? Social media is is as they say in Spanish, fuego, it's fire. You want to stay, if you're going to put something up, be very, very, very careful. Very, very careful. On that note, I'm going to stop here. I do this every Tuesday and Thursday. 10 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Israel time. Anyone has questions, find me on Facebook at Michael Chaim Kaufman, Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism, or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism on YouTube. I got videos there in the Torah portion of the week, Ethics of Our Fathers. What other good things there? Book of Leviticus, I got up there as well. Controversial issues, Pirkei Avos, Ethics of Our Fathers. Going to do Pirkei Avos on Saturday, 2:30 Eastern time, 9:30 Israel time. Send me an email, rabbichaimkaufman@gmail.com, RBBIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com. Wish have a good beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day, and everyone have a great